Hello, welcome to the Rankers. My name's Kyle Wright, and with me again is the globe-trotting Stuart McPhee. How are you tonight, Stuart?
Kyle, right, you son of a bitch. I'm great, thank you. It's good to see your smiling face.
Yeah, it's been a while, been far too long, but here we are back again.
Indeed.
What are we? October the 12th, I think it is, 2025. And we're here for Stuart to do his recap of his 5 week sojourn over to Europe, which included a night witnessing the greatest band of all time, Oasis. How was that?
It was fantastic. So, yes, we're in October, which means normally you and I would be celebrating birth month later, but there's more important things to be had, which is
Correct.
the very last day of October is when you get to see Oasis again for the first time in, about 16, 17 years. So, you must be looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
I am extremely looking forward to it. I'm a little bit worried about the date, given it's Halloween,
Mhm.
that there might be some sort of nightmare scenario, yeah, that the Gallagher brothers are known for. But given that they've got this far in the tour and it seems very professional, like I think the chances of that are very slim.
Yep.
Disappointing to hear the news that Bonehead won't be
Mm.
joining the Australian leg of the tour. However, I think there was a little bit of a discussion on our chat, and I said that they may not even replace him and just go with Andy and Gem, but I guess we'll see soon enough.
Yeah. Whether they've got a guitar tech in the wings that can do Bonehead's bits or whatever. I guess it's essentially just trying to cover so that Noel can do what he needs to do, and yeah, you've got an extra set of hands. But yeah, I guess we'll find out soon enough, and hopefully Bonehead's on the mend and can rejoin the tour in South America.
Yeah, possibly could go with Liam's guitarist he had for his solo band, given that
Okay.
they did a lot of Oasis stuff towards the end. But
Yep.
yeah, don't know. Yeah, a little disappointing, but yeah, it is what it is.
But yes, I think the nightmare scenario I don't believe will occur for what you've said, which is pretty much every leg of the tour so far has been a resounding success. And as you alluded to at the start, I was able to witness one of those gigs on the first section. So I went to night one of Edinburgh. It was the the sense in the city was sort of fever pitch, and it was it was already quite heightened because it's pretty much the height of the Fringe Festival in
Yep.
Edinburgh. Um, it was I believe it's the 75th anniversary of the Edinburgh Tattoo as well, which is a really big deal around that time of year. And of course, you had our favorite band doing three gigs. And so I got to see the first night in Edinburgh. There was certainly a little bit of talk in the press, and I think we may have mentioned it on a previous pod around the uh, ill-timed decision to have the gigs at the height of the Fringe. I believe the city council weren't too happy about it, to which Liam certainly made his point known just before they did bring it on down. Uh, Essentially saying, "Well, we've brought in millions of dollars, so we're waiting for our apology." And it was crazy. I've been to Edinburgh before at the height of the Fringe. This was even more so. So, what can I tell you about the event itself? At Murrayfields at the Rugby Union Stadium, we worked out the best way for us to get there. I went with my wife and my daughter. Best way to get there was on a bus. As soon as we got there, basically the streets were paved with drunken Oasis fans who were in good spirits. There wasn't anything angry or rowdy. You would expect that more if they were actually going to a Scotland v England rugby union match. So there was none of that. There was just a lot of singing, a lot of revelry, a lot of buskers out front, making hard earned on playing Oasis tunes. Um, and there was a lot of different procedures to get into the stadium itself. Um,
Okay.
the way it was set up, we had to go around the entire. We had to basically circumnavigate the entire thing and almost end up where we started, but you had to go anti-clockwise to get there. But once you're in, it was um, everything was so squeezed in and tight that you didn't even have. There was no point lining up to get drinks. So I watched the entire thing sober um, because I didn't want to miss a minute of it either.
No, why would you?
No. And so 70 odd thousand people there. We were pretty high up. We were about maybe 4 or 5 rows from the back in the top tier. And I don't think I really appreciated it until I got there. I thought, oh, this is going to be, I'm going to feel so far away from what's happening on stage. But as I've described to some people upon my return, it's like you're in a pub with 70,000 people singing along arm in arm to every single tune. And I was singing arm in arm with people I'd never known before. Uh, Before that night, there was a guy behind me who, 2 months before the gig, he got tickets on a secondary market and paid 600 quid for them. This is
Wow.
like 3 rows back from on the top tier. Um, and he was amazed. He goes, "Why'd you come all the way across across the globe to see him?" I said, "One of my favorite bands ever. Why wouldn't I do it?
Mm.
I am getting a chance to see them later in the year, but the opportunity presented itself." And yeah, but by the end of the night, yeah, we were arm in arm and belting out all the tunes together. The the thing that I think we'll probably miss, and those in the States miss it as well, is the secret weapon. Not that you need it, but it just set things right. Was Richard Ashcroft as the support act, having him come on do basically 7, 8 songs, the last 4 of them being the 4 singles off Urban Hymns, and the crowd is just at that stage. The crowd was probably 80% full, and they're just loving every single big hit that Richard's playing. And Richard sounded like similar to the reports around how Liam's sounding like it's 96, 97 again. Uh,
Yeah.
it sounds like it's vintage Richard Ashcroft. So he was great. And then the DJ wisely put in just before Fucking in the Bushes starts. He puts on Born Slippy, which being from the film Train Spotting, set in Edinburgh, that just got everyone really amped up. And
Yeah.
yeah, the thing came out and just knocked it out of the park. It was, yeah, it exceeded my expectations. Despite hearing all the great news that we'd heard, it wasn't until I saw it for myself that I went, oh wow, they're back, absolutely. So yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful night. No, uh, I'll cherish it for forever, and I'll get to do it in a couple of weeks in the same city as yourself. So no, looking forward.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, I can't hide my excitement. Can't wait. What are we now? 19 days away.
Yep.
So it's getting really, really close. I'm seeing them twice, so Melbourne and then following up the next weekend in Sydney as well. So bring it on down, I
Yeah.
reckon. So um, yeah. So I guess last time we spoke, the tour hadn't started, and we were predicting the set. What do you
Mm.
think of the set?
Yeah, I mean they obviously have kept it the same. I don't think there's been any nights where they've
They
changed
haven't,
it all.
but
Which,
that's not unfamiliar for Oasis.
no,
Generally on tour, like every night's the same set. So
yeah, and I think if I put on my in hindsight glasses on, you and I were certainly seeing it from a very much a deep dive fan's perspective of what we would like.
mhm.
Being there at the stadium where it was fairly clear there is a huge range of age groups that go in. There's obviously those of us our age and the generation a little bit older than us that were sort of in their 20s when Oasis first started, uh, down to my daughter who obviously had no, let's face it, zero interest in this gig. She was just, can we get this out of the way so we can go to Disneyland in a few weeks, sort of a thing. But there were, young teens there. And so it absolutely made sense that they catered mostly for the first couple of albums. I mentioned Bring It On Down before, and so it's probably the one track that I thought um, there were no bad songs. It's fair to say all 23 odd songs that were fantastic, but it's the one where you go, well, you probably could have swapped it out for something else. It was very heavy on the first two albums, particularly Morning Glory. Um,
Yep.
but it wasn't. It certainly, even for a hardcore fan, it wasn't a disappointing thing hearing basically the hits. Given
Yeah.
that you still, it's still a band where they played, I think, five B sides.
Yeah.
And I challenge any other band to be able to do that and still have a stadium full of people sing all the words to, a Talk Tonight or an Acquiesce. So,
Mm.
yeah, I
Well,
thought the set was pretty good.
yeah, I think I've mentioned in our chats before that I would have loved to have seen perhaps Shock of the Lightning in place of Bring It On Down.
Yeah,
Just one of the better tracks from later on. I was actually quite surprised we didn't get uh, name escapes me at the moment, but it was Liam's track on the final album as well. Um,
I'm out of time, maybe.
I'm out of time, yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. But
yeah,
I guess this is what first time together since 2009, so why
yeah.
not just come back with all the hits? Interesting. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts though. Recently, there's been whispers about another tour next year in 2026,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you saw Liam's tweet, but someone asked, "How can you come back and not play Hindu Times?" And he said, "I hear something like this is only the first half, son," or something like that. So,
Yeah.
um, who knows? Maybe there's another tour with, a heavier emphasis on later tracks, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case, and this is a very you know small similarity. One of my other favorite bands, Crowded House, are doing a lot of big shows around Australia at the moment, with your Angus and Julia Stones and those types. But in between it, they're doing smaller gigs where they're playing some of the more deeper cuts and even trying out some new stuff in, like I said, in a much more intimate setting.
Yeah,
From what I've seen, taking it back to Oasis, from what I've seen in terms of the suggested venues, they're still going to be quite large places that they may be more arena type tours where they may play multiple nights and potentially have a slightly different set list. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what comes of it. I think to your point, the fact that they haven't played since '09 meant that they had to, really knuckle down and focus on a set of songs. And if they then take some time off and then work out, particularly when you've got, when Bonehead's in the lineup, they've sort of got an extra guitarist on stage than what they've historically had.
yeah,
So that means that you could probably, once you've got that dynamic together, work out what works from an arrangement point of view, and work what works from a track list flow as well. I mean, they'll if they change anything, it's likely to be maybe four songs out, four songs in. Wouldn't think it'd
I
be
agree with
anything
that.
too
Yeah,
radical, but yeah, it'll be probably taking out your Bringing On Downs and maybe a little by little or a Talk Tonight and change it over
roll
for
with it.
others. Yeah, yep, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Particularly once the 30th anniversary sort of winds down in terms of the Morning Glory album. So
yeah. But I mean, who are we to complain? I mean, it's better to have Oasis back with, the older songs than it is to not have them back at all.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I
yeah,
think any of the real that sort of negativity that I was sort of expecting from a subset of fans hasn't really shone through. That whether it's around complaining about the lack of set list changes to uh, what you heard, particularly when people got tickets of, I'm going to be sat next to a 16-year-old who couldn't name 5 Oasis songs, that sort of thing. It's to me that's sort of gone by the wayside, and everyone's just embraced the fact that the band's back, which has been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Guess we don't have much more to say on this topic other than bring it on down for Melbourne, October 31 for me. Is that the night you're going to, or
No,
a different night?
I'm going to night 2 on the 1st of November. So
1st November.
we'll no doubt catch up when you're in town. It'll be great.
Absolutely. Sounds good. All right. If you've got any feedback for us, please let us know. Is there any song you would have loved to have seen on the set list? Have you seen them? Are you going to see them? Let us know, and we'll more than happily talk about it. So, do you have anything else you want to add there, Stuart?
No, apart from this, it seems to be not only a Rankers podcast, but also an ongoing Oasis discussion. I've got this sort of sense that at some point we'll just talk about Oasis all the time. We'll go through every song. But no, nothing else to add other than looking forward to seeing them again, and looking forward to catching up with you when you're in town in a few weeks.
Definitely, maybe even a chance for a Rankers live in person episode.
Ooh, that'll be interesting. We'll see what we can sort out.
See if we can work it out.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, all those sorts of things, and you got to keep them separated. Thank you.